everyone, welcome to today's video. Fair warning, she's gonna be a long one, so buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride, all about the ins and outs of wholesaling for your handmade business. Let's do it. Questions that we will be answering in this video right off the break, so you know if this is a good use of your time. First of all, what exactly is wholesaling? What does it entail? Is it right for you in your business? How can you do this successfully? Tips and tricks along from things I've learned along the way. An entire discussion on customizing products and whether or not that is something you should offer. Just general things to know that may not be so obvious when you're first getting started, and tons more. So if you're considering going into wholesale or just kind of feeling things out, this is going to be the video for you. I highly recommend taking notes for this video. There's so much information packed into it. We need to just get started because, again, she's gonna be a long one. First things first, what exactly is wholesaling? So just to clear the misconceptions of what exactly wholesaling is. Wholesaling is when you offer your products for a less than retail cost in bulk, so someone can buy your products in bulk and resell them. Generally in the bath and body product space or soaping space, you would find boutiques that are buying your products to resell, spas, different kinds of things like that. This is a really great thing to do when you are first starting out because it can help you kind of move a lot of products at once, though you won't get the same margins as you would if you were retail. I like that because I think, in the beginning, it's kind of where you're still trying to figure out exactly what you want to offer in the long run. So this is great because if you make 10, say, sugar scrubs and then decide that that's not the fragrance or the look or the container or whatever the case is, you can offer all 10 of those to one person via wholesale and hopefully, or theoretically, get rid of all of them at the same time. I've been working in wholesale for about a year and a half at this point, and these are some of the things that I've noticed about products that move and products that sit. So in my year and a half, the most selling or best selling product by far has been salt soaks or bath salts. And I can definitely see why. They're a great product. They are more, I would say, like universal. You don't know if someone is going to enjoy a bar soap, but most people would enjoy having a nice relaxing salt soak. So it's more of a universal product to be used. Salt soaks, absolutely my #1 best seller on wholesale platforms. And if I had to choose a worst one, this one's actually kind of upsetting because it's one of my favorites. It's really easy to make, but I like it because of what it is. I like actually using the product, and those are shave bars. So instead of using a traditional shaving cream, you would use a snap shave bar. In my opinion, is a great product, but they never move on wholesale platforms. So just something to think about. Other products that sell really well are coconut bath jars. Obviously, whipped sugar scrubs are another good one. Bath bombs, I have noticed you have to have specific bath bombs that are more unique or have a unique quality to them. Of course, everyone is different, so I don't say that something is a non-seller to discourage you from offering it, because you never know, you might be able to find a way that works and sells for you, right? Obviously, as we've talked about many times before, just because it doesn't work for me doesn't mean it shouldn't or can't work for you. Now, here is a big one, and that is, where can you sell your wholesale products? I'm a FAIRE gal myself. I love FAIRE. I love the entire just like vibe and feel of it. I think that FAIRE does a really good job of actually checking buyers and sellers to make sure that they are legitimate businesses. So the onboarding of it isn't like instant. You do have to wait and go through a couple of verifications, but I like that. To me, me, that says they care about who is buying and who is selling on the platform. I really like FAIRE. Again, I've been on there for about 1.5 years, and it's a platform that I really enjoy and I trust. So I do have a link for that down below if you are interested in applying. Now, again, it does take a couple of days, I would say about a week, to go through the whole process and become verified. So just know that going into it, but it is 100% worth it. Now, as far as fees, they do have like kind of 2 setups to it. So if I post all of my products on FAIRE and then say, the Palm Tree Boutique decides to buy, I just made that up, but if, say they decide to come and buy from my shop. If FAIRE brings the customer in, they take FAIRE takes 25% of the total, but you don't have to pay for shipping. So that's really nice. The other thing that you can do is if you already have customers, which this is something that I do often, you can send them an invoice directly, and if the customer isn't on FAIRE but comes directly to your shop and buys from you and your invoice, then FAIRE I think only takes 10% in that case. All right, I know y'all can hear this baby crying. I'll have to be back in a little bit. All right, I don't know how this is gonna go, but we're gonna try it out. Now, the next thing that you have to consider when working on a wholesale platform, oh, you know what? Okay, scoot back a little bit to wholesale platforms in general. FAIRE is my favorite, but it's absolutely not the only one. There are tons, as I'm sure you know. I've heard of Abound, I've heard a couple other, fashiongo.net, although that one's more fashion. I would definitely say there is opportunity there. Those are really great choices, and I do know a lot of people do offer wholesale items on Etsy as well. So if you have an Etsy shop, that might be worth looking into. The next thing to consider would definitely be holidays and seasonal items. When in wholesale, you definitely have to be in tune to those seasonal fragrances or types of items and the holiday related ones. Those are huge hits, and they will move faster than your core line at the right time. Now, I will say right now it's the end of January. What is today? January 29th, I think. I'm pretty sure today's the 29th when I'm filming. So today's January 29th. Valentine's Day is in 2 weeks. Nobody's buying Valentine's Day anymore, okay? They're not. So you have to be, I would say, at minimum 4 weeks ahead. Right now, I would be planning for Easter or a spring collection. If you're looking specific holiday, it would be Easter, and if you're looking season, it would be spring. Start planning and getting those items up. The earlier, the better. So just keep those dates in mind. I keep personally a calendar that has all the holidays on it, and I've kind of already planned out what I want to do, at least for Q1 and Q2 of this year up until summer. This one is a big one, and this is actually my biggest goal for this year to figure out. Are you going to, you have to ask yourself and decide, are you going to stock products and then list them after you have them stocked? Or are you going to have one set available and then kind of make as you go or make to order your items? There are so many pros and cons to both styles of stocking, but let me tell you, I have been on both ends of that, and I could do an entire video on these pros and cons. You'll have to, and actually maybe I will, because I do think in the beginning it's kind of hard to see what those pros and cons might be, or how to even decide whether you'll stock items or make to order. So you know what, I'm gonna add that to my calendar, because it is just such a vital part of deciding how you will run your business. Yeah. Very briefly here, all I'm gonna say, since I'm gonna put that whole separate video up, is you need to make sure you don't bite off more than you can chew. Let's talk now about the beast of offering custom products. I have done this before. I have turned it down. I've accepted large orders, small custom orders. I've been around the block when it comes to custom orders. And what I have learned is you really have to choose a job that you want to fulfill. If you decide to accept a custom order for 75 bars of soap with a custom label, but you're not feeling like doing that job, it is going to be a terrible experience. And in the end, you're not going to be happy with it, even when you get that custom order money, okay? So really consider if this is something that you want to do. And I feel like that's being said for everything that I mentioned, but it is so important. You really just have to consider each and every individual part of this after you decide if wholesale is even right for you. If I'm gonna have to order a custom fragrance for you, that's going to be more. If I'm going to have to order special packaging for you, that's definitely going to be more. But even more than more would be the custom labels. Custom labels are a whole different beast because you have to provide, well, good customer service is they send you the artwork, you mock up the label and send it back for them to give feedback and, correct, or not correct, but, update or whatever the word is, right? So you really have to be open to doing that, which takes a lot more time. It does. So again, you have to be open to that, but don't charge 50 cents for a custom label because, I really think that takes away from the specialness of it and the amount of time it's going to take for you to fulfill that. Baby break, baby break, baby break. All right, so now that we've talked about custom orders, I think the bottom line of that, in case I got a little confused as I was explaining it, because I have a lot of thoughts on custom orders, just make sure that you're charging something that makes it worth it. 50 cents for a custom label is not enough, okay? Really think about it long and hard before you accept that custom order. The next piece of this giant puzzle that is wholesale products or wholesaling your products is offering it locally. Oftentimes, when you start wholesaling, you think that one platform is the only platform to exist and therefore you forget about any other option. And that couldn't be further from the truth. As you know, there are various, as we covered already, various online platforms that you can use, but they're not the only places out there. Sit down, write a list, drive around the town. What? Drive around the town and write a list of places that might be willing to offer your product. Your list should contain any type of small shop that you think might loosely relate to what you are doing. And while we already know boutiques are very popular with this, how about a spa? Do you have a spa, a massage parlor? Do you have a nail salon that does waxing or other beauty treatments? And even if it's not directly in your town, think of some places nearby that might be worth checking out. You can go. The worst thing that's going to happen is you'll go and you'll pitch yourself and then they'll tell you no. That's the worst thing that can happen. And really, that's not a bad thing. I'll be right back. All right, let's see if I can finish this up before one of the kids needs me for something. The next thing we need to discuss is social media. And I know that everyone covers this in their videos, business tips, like that kind of thing. You need exposure, you need this, you need to do this, right? I get that, and I do agree with a lot of the things that they say. But in the realm of wholesale, you have to make sure that when you're posting something to the audience of a boutique owner, a spa owner, a small shop owner, okay? Because the way that you position yourself to those people is way different than the way you position yourself to a retail customer. All right, now we've made it to the last section or chapter of this video, and that is my tips and random things that I have learned while wholesaling my products. Okay, now the first thing that I would highly recommend is when you get on there, you need to add as many products as you possibly can. Right now, I have like half of my catalog is sold out, and that's a problem, obviously, right? Because if I only can offer 5 things to a boutique owner, or 5 different products, I should say, to a boutique owner, that may not be enough for the space that they're trying to fill. So you're potentially losing out on sales if you only have a few things in your catalog. And that being said, the next thing is please make sure that your minimum cost is reflective of the things that you have available. On FAIRE, when you start wholesaling, you get to choose the minimum purchase amount from a customer. So right now, mine is set at $125 for someone's first order. They must order $125 worth of products before I will accept that order. Absolutely raising that, but here's kind of the breakdown of it, okay? My minimum offer is $125 because I think that reflects the amount of products that I have available. If I have, say, 50 products available, and I don't mean like individual units of a product, I mean, let's say my catalog has 50 different products in it, and each one of those products has 4 units available. I am raising my minimum, and I highly recommend that you do the same, especially as more orders and more reviews come in. People will see that you're trustworthy and that your products are worth it. And finally, we did briefly touch on this earlier, but you really need to kill it in customer service. The best way that you can solve problems or ensure that you're getting those 5-star reviews is to offer slamming customer service. It's like a brief sequence that I go through. When someone places their order, I thank them. Then, I thank them via Messenger. FAIRE has a messenger, so I thank them via FAIRE Messenger. Thanks for your order. I anticipate that your ship date will be XYZ. Appreciate you, whatever you want to say, okay? So I send that thank you message, I ship the product. On the packing slip for that shipment, I just write a quick thanks, it means so much to me. Then once the product is delivered, I usually wait 2 days and then come back with another message on FAIRE. Please let me know if you think there are any ways that I could improve my products, my communication, my customer service, and I would really appreciate if you could leave me a review. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're interested in reordering or a custom product, let me know, those kinds of things. You don't want to bug them, like don't continually send them messages, right? After I send that message, that's the last one I send unless they contact me. But you don't want to overwhelm them with messages and like bug them, because then they're never going to come back, right? We've done a lot today. We've done a lot. I don't even know how long this video is, but I have a feeling it's pretty detailed, but I feel like it needs to be pretty detailed. Something that I should have said in the beginning of the video or towards the beginning of the video was do not try and go on a wholesale platform unless you are like a recognized business by your state. And by that, I mean like a sole corporation or an LLC, something along those lines, okay? You really need to make sure that you are a business entity before you start offering. And FAIRE, I know, does verify that you are, but I feel people may try and get around that. You need that in place. You need that in place for business in general, but especially offering wholesale, you need that in place because your products aren't going direct to the end consumer. They're going to like a middle party and then to the end consumer. So you never want to be caught in a place where, something, God forbid, happens and then they come back for you and you have no legal protection because you're not even technically a business. That is terrible. Please don't do that. Make sure that you are a legal business entity before you start offering your products anywhere at all, but especially in the wholesale space. I'm glad that I filmed this video. I know a couple of you had requested it, and thank you so much. I love reading your comments and answering to your questions and, bringing videos in that really are specific to your needs. So please let me know if you have any of those. I did see a couple of you are interested in that DIY packaging video. I started planning for it in my notebook, so that will be coming up soon. I just want to make sure I have like everything that I want to say, or every like DIY packaging thing, right? Everything, to make sure that I have that before I film the video. I don't want to forget anything. I don't want to forget anything, All right. Sounds like my time is up. So I will see you next week. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and check me out on FAIRE. I will be adding new things to my catalog. Hopefully this week. I've got a pretty low-key week, so I should be able to. So I'll be on there back and forth, and definitely if you decide to apply for it, use my link. I would appreciate that as well. All right, I'll see you next week.